Good evening and welcome to the channel's studios here in London with your international news around the world in 5. Explosions and gunfire have continued in Sudan's capital Khartoum, with fighting in the country in its third day. According to local reports, hostilities are centred at the city's Republican Palace, Army Command Building and International Airport. According to the Doctors' Union, around 100 civilians have died during this round of violence, which began on Saturday. It is not clear who is in charge in Sudan at the moment. Sudan's Rapid Support Forces here seen celebrating, claiming to have taken over Merowe Airport. Conflicting narratives have emerged as deadly clashes continue between the army and the powerful paramilitary Rapid Support Forces. The clashes are underpinned by a power struggle between the army chief and the country's de facto president, General Abdel Fattah al-Burhan, and his deputy, who also commands the RSF. But the sudden violence is very rare in the country's capital. Here, civilians fleeing the fighting. The EU Commission has called for de-escalation.
The message of the EU is extremely clear, which is cessation of hostilities, de-escalation of the current situation, urging for the respect of the international humanitarian law and the protection of citizens.
The opposition Russian activist Vladimir Kara-Murza has been sentenced to 25 years in jail for treason and other charges linked to his criticism of the war in Ukraine. The Russian-British former journalist and politician is the latest of a number of Putin opponents to have been arrested or forced to flee Russia. He has denied the charges and been vocally critical of his trial, saying, "I subscribe to every word that I have said." His 25-year sentence was the top number sought by prosecutors and is the longest sentence an opposition figure has received so far.
Criminalization of criticism of government action is a sign of weakness, not strength. We support the right of Mr. Kara-Murza and every Russian citizen to have a voice in the direction of their country. Mr. Kara-Murza and countless other Russians believe in and hope for a Russia where fundamental freedoms are upheld, and we will continue to share those hopes and work for that outcome.
A rising sports star has been named as one of the victims in a mass shooting at a teenager's birthday party in Alabama at the weekend. Phil Dowdle was about to go to university on an American football scholarship.
What happened?
At least 4 people were killed at the party in the small city of Dadaville on Saturday, and 28 more people were injured, some critically. Police have not said whether a suspect is in custody. The city's local pastor said the gunman was still at large and urged him to turn himself in. The UK Prime Minister Rishi Sunak is being investigated by Parliament's standards watchdog over a possible failure to declare an interest. Mr Sunak is being investigated over whether a declaration of interest was open and frank under rules set out by the Commissioner for Standards. Last month, Mr Sunak faced questions over shares his wife holds in Koru Kids, a childcare agency that could benefit from a new policy unveiled in the spring budget. Mr Sunak has denied breaking any rules. The former German Chancellor Angela Merkel has been awarded the country's highest Order of Merit by President Frank-Walter Steinmeier. Before Merkel, only 2 people had received the highest order of the country. Various politicians, artists and celebrities were present at the ceremony in Berlin. The former German national football coach Jürgen Klinsmann was among the guests to honour the known soccer fan Angela Merkel. And Elon Musk's company SpaceX has halted the debut launch of the most powerful rocket ever built.
Decision right now is that we are going to stop the launch for today.
Thousands of people had gathered on beaches along the Gulf of Mexico hoping to witness the spectacle. But a few minutes before the launch, it was announced the test wouldn't happen. Mr. Musk said a frozen valve meant the giant rocket couldn't take off as planned. And that's your international news around the world in 5. Now back to the channel's studios in Lagos.